cattle moving this month.
I'm aware.
Sheriff Wade had told Beulah at the start of the show that Whitney, the wife of Wes Ayers, blood. Second, Beulah probably uses 10 Petals Ranch as a cover to smuggle drugs or other illicit goods from the opposite side of the border. As McKinney had already noted, Rio Paloma was just 70 miles from the Mexican border, and in all honesty, nobody becomes that wealthy as a rancher. In addition, Beulah got a call in the episode from a man named Mariano, who is probably her spouse and the source of all of her funding. Additionally, Mariano seemed to be sending her something when he said, "We have a lot of cattle moving this month," and it was undoubtedly more than just cattle. We know that Robwell became suspicious that he was concealing something he didn't want anyone to discover after learning that Wes was looking through his tally books. It's conceivable that Beulah was smuggling narcotics or possibly both. She went to see Austin Lewis, one of her co-workers, in the hospital in episode 3. Lewis suspected foul play in Wes's unexplained disappearance. Beulah made it very evident to Austin in their brief conversation that he would not be able to endure this battle. Thus, it would be better for him to forget everything. Will punish him for asking too many questions. Beulah wanted to threaten Whitney in the same manner, but to her astonishment, she had already left town. Beulah, however, was unable to allow her to flee, therefore, it's possible that she will instruct her men to locate her in order to resolve any outstanding issues and put an end to this tale. However, given that only Rip is aware of the can also bring it back to defeat Beulah in her own game if he has made it vanish. Welcome back to Grand Movies. After the shocking ending of episode 3, fans are now asking one huge question: what happens when Rip Wheeler finally decides the cattle outbreak wasn't an accident? Because episode 4, titled "Start with a Bullet," already sounds like a warning. And based on everything we saw in episode 3, Rip may officially be preparing for war. Today, we're breaking down the biggest episode 4 predictions, including the growing theory that Beulah Jackson intentionally targeted the Dutton ranch, and why Rip could become more dangerous than ever after the outbreak. And yes, we'll also look at some of the fan theories currently exploding across Reddit. Episode 3 completely changed the direction of Dutton Ranch. At first, Beth and Rip believed the infected cattle appeared shortly after the auction bull arrived at Rio Paloma. The timing is too perfect. Beth and Rip challenge Beulah Jackson's influence in Texas, and suddenly their ranch is collapsing from the inside. By the end of episode 3, Rip doesn't just look worried. He looks angry. Quietly angry. And Yellowstone fans know that's when Rip is at his most dangerous. One of the biggest predictions for episode 4 is that Rip will begin investigating the outbreak himself instead of waiting for answers from veterinarians or state officials. Rip has never trusted outsiders to protect his family. That's important because the title, "Start with a Bullet," strongly suggests episode 4 could mark the moment Rip stops reacting defensively and starts going on the offensive. Fans believe Rip will begin targeting anyone connected to the infected cattle shipment. And the number one suspect remains Beulah Jackson. Episode 3 already hinted that Beulah may know more than she's admitting. The show repeatedly focused on her mysterious business calls involving livestock movement near the border. That detail didn't feel random. Many viewers now believe the writers are building toward a reveal involving illegal cattle transportation or contaminated livestock tied to Beulah's operation. Some fans think she intentionally manipulated outbreak may have been meant to pressure the Duttons into selling the ranch cheaply before they can establish themselves in Texas. And honestly, that would fit perfectly with how Yellowstone villains usually operate. They don't attack emotionally first. They attack financially, then they destroy you emotionally afterward. One Reddit theory that's gaining attention says Rip may eventually ignore the law